Hi everybody, thank you for tuning in. This video is just going to be a little bit of a chat, not much of a study, but I just want to talk about the prophetic outline of the Book of Mormon. One Nephi and two Nephi, the first book and the second book, okay? Or really the first book going into the second book. We'll talk about it. The Book of Mormon starts with the first book of Nephi. Nephi is a type and shadow of Christ. And pretty much where we are on the prophetic timeline of the last days, we are literally in the first book of Nephi. This is coming to pass right before our very eyes. So what does that mean? That means that we are seeing the great falling away, which is called in our Bibles, before the day of the Lord, there must be a great falling away. We are seeing this great falling away in our time right now. And we read about that in the book of Nephi. In first Nephi sees his people, they rebel and fall away, and he understands that the Lord must destroy Jerusalem. So he is commanded to eventually flee Jerusalem and go on the other side of the world to the Americas. So, so we're kind of in that time right now, leading up to that point. That great falling away, the apostate house of Israel, and it's really interesting. Then, when the Lord commands Nephi to build the ship. Now, what does that ship and that trip across the seas represent? It represents the Great Tribulation to come. And Nephi's ship is really a symbology of the ship that Jesus rode on in the Gospels. When, he would go from one side of Galilee to the other. And when he crossed the river, it was as if being on the other side in the kingdom. Okay? And there are a lot of metaphors to this ship just all over the place in Scripture. So that was the ship that the Lord commanded Nephi to build. And during that trip on the sea to the Americas, his brothers and sisters acted outlandishly rudely. And I think that is a symbology of the Great Tribulation. And so, of course, when Nephi and his brethren finally land in the Americas on the new promised land, that's of course a symbology of the millennial reign. And this is where the second book of Nephi comes in, the second book in the Book of Mormon. And the first chapter in the second book of Nephi, we clearly see millennial reign and prophecy. And then it gets interesting. In the second chapter of the second book of Nephi, he speaks to his son Jacob, and he says, Jacob was my firstborn in the wilderness. Now, we can relate this to our Bibles. Jacob is actually a symbology of Eve. Jacob is actually a symbology of the daughter of the people that we read of in the book of Daniel, in the book of Malachi. Okay? So, and we know the name Jacob means supplanter. So pretty much in retrospect, Jacob is going to be, male and female it doesn't matter. But the daughter of the people, it will be the Eve of the millennial reign, the mother of all living. Okay? So, and it perfectly makes sense because Jacob is, in the Bible, the general population of the house of Israel, right? Because our real patriarch Jacob gave birth to the 12 tribes of Israel. So it's like the general population of Israel, the mother of all living, literally a fulfillment of Eve, the mother of all living. Okay? So it's just a step above the seed of Abraham. So that's kind of the deal. It's very interesting how we see these things coming to be. So I just wanted to share that. something to focus and meditate on. Okay, guys. Thank you for tuning in. That's all I have right now. God bless you.